45.
Looks like Tom Duncan.
Sounds like, must be a duck.
Jersey girls are the best.
Yeah.
What?
The bunny ears are back.
All right, guys, we are back for another episode of Laughing Underneath the Podcast, and we are still here in sunny Orlando, Florida. Joe, it's not kind of sunny, but maybe it is.
You know what? It's fine. It's lovely. If it was too sunny, it might be extra hot. We don't need that.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. This is great. This is a great place to be. We're at the
NAMMBA Connect 2024.
NAMMBA Connect 2024, and we're sitting with my man Divine, who's got an amazing story. The reason I cut you off, because I could have talked to you for another 30 minutes without ever hitting the record button.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was just like, it's just too much to absorb.
Right. It's
a lot
You
going
don't understand, man. It's like our heads are like spinning. So, I mean, I got 12 minutes with you, and it's like, how do I get to the nature and the essence of divine in 12 minutes?
Yeah.
It's not going to be possible.
Right.
We're going to do our best for our audience to uncover what we've uncovered, Joe, right?
Yeah.
Which I think you were fascinated by it,
I'm floored.
right?
Yeah.
So, Dwayne, I mean, in as quickly as possible, tell me where your story started, you know what I mean? So the audience understands like where you were a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Story. I like to frame it like I would always frame it like from crack to rap to tech.
Okay.
So when you look at the from crack piece, it's about my childhood, being raised middle class, a mother having a emotional mental breakdown due to my father's behavior, what have you, and then unfortunately becoming addicted to drugs during the 80s crack cocaine epidemic. Became addicted to crack cocaine, which changed my life.
Mhm.
Coming from middle class, by 10 years old, abruptly thrust into the projects and poverty. I'm trying to find my way, no role models, dysfunctional household,
Yeah.
family situation. And so I started hustling drugs, right? So that's the from crack piece. So rap is a piece where,
So let me stop you for a second because we see a lot of TV shows.
yeah.
The Wire.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
how real is that stuff? Is that like how you experienced it? I mean, you're gonna be what, 10, 12 years old and you're out there slinging,
Yeah. No, 13. Yeah, 13 years
right?
old. Yep.
So you're like those little hoppers that we saw on The Wire.
Doing my thing. Absolutely. I mean, you're always gonna have some form of exaggeration
Mm-hmm.
in TV shows and movies and all that. But for the most part, the premise of what takes place in prison, depending where you're at, how you carry yourself.
So when you're on the
Before, when I
on
was
the
out there in the
streets,
streets, yeah. So again, before I go to prison, I'm hustling drugs to survive. My whole goal when I was hustling, I didn't see it as a negative. I saw it as a means to an end.
Yeah.
And the end was, how do I get my mother and my family out of poverty and back to the middle class life that we had?
You're doing what you thought was best at the time.
Yes.
Right. And to survive.
And the only resources I had.
Yeah.
And
That's the resource I had.
this is really important to understand. So just FYI, I grew up in DC,
Yeah.
which in the 80s was the murder capital,
Crazy. That's right. Crazy.
right? And so it was
Familiar.
so it was crazy back then, right? I grew up in all that.
Right.
I'm very familiar with what was going on.
Yeah.
What I want to know is you saw selling drugs as an opportunity to get your family in the middle class because you saw what? No other way to get there?
I had no other way to get there. I'm 13 years old. What resources does a 13-year-old have? If he's coming from poverty, thrust into projects, there's no resources, but there's no positive ones anyway. So I saw that as a means to an end because I had been raised middle class. I leveraged like my intelligence, my DNA intelligence from my family, and being raised that way. I leveraged it so well, I became too big too fast.
Oh, wow.
So I was basically like too good at it, in a sense, right? So which got me on the radar of the federal government, which leads me back to the second part of my story, which is from crack to rap. So rap piece is when I'm locked in prison, and then I always loved the hip hop, and I got into that and honed my skills and learned the music industry A to Z. Determined to open my own record label when I came home. That was gonna be my pathway out of poverty now.
Yeah.
So I gave it up for the drugs and do rap now, pursue rap as a career. So I learned the business. Unfortunately, when I came home, I couldn't get a loan at the bank. Like I didn't understand financial literacy, financial intelligence.
Nice. Look at
I
that.
had all this money I had made throughout my time in the streets,
Yeah.
right? Massive amounts of money, absurd amounts, right? And I was a young kid though. So instead of having the $1 million house and this, that, and the third, I wasn't thinking like that. I'm thinking, let me get out of poverty first and we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? I didn't really know all these things. So the third part of my story to tech.
Yeah.
So after I get out of prison, into the hip hop industry or the music industry, built my label, doing my thing, couldn't get a loan to finance my company. I go back to the streets getting money how I know how to get it.
Yeah.
So now doing music became what I loved just doing. It didn't become like a profession. I didn't pursue it as a profession. I wish I had, because I wouldn't have done crime
Right.
as my profession, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Because the crime brought the money in.
You're going back to things
my
that you
passion.
know what to do. Yeah, it's a
Exactly.
playbook that you have. Yeah.
So to speed up the story, 12 years ago, incarcerated yet again, dealing with recidivism.
Was that the second time or multiple?
Like multiple times I've been incarcerated, but it's like the last time.
This is the last time.
Last time, always and forever.
Let's pray to God that'll be your last time. How's that, man?
We have parted. You know what I'm saying? We have parted. So 12 years ago, found myself getting prison yet again. Really did some introspection, like thinking about like what am I good at? What do I really like doing? And I determined that, you know, I love the process of making money.
Okay.
I love business. I have that DNA intelligence, always being acclimated to business and just had natural gift of doing that. So I said, I'm gonna be a serial entrepreneur. Started reading Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc., you know, you name it, Fortune, reading all these magazines. So I learned about the startup ecosystem.
Yeah.
You know, people's getting millions of dollars to fund their ideas. I'm like, these ideas I thought about. Hold on. What's going
I don't
on?
have to raise my own money. I can use other people's money. Insane. Yeah.
Yeah, so I started learning about that. Came across an article about a famed Silicon Valley venture capitalist and billionaire, and how he used hip hop to teach business lessons to his employees. So that intrigued me. I'm like, what is venture capital? Older white Jewish guy in Silicon Valley have to do with hip hop.
Yeah.
Hip hop comes from pain, poverty, struggle,
Nice.
stress. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't see the correlation. So that intrigued me about him. Learned about him while incarcerated. I got his Wikipedia. Learned about him, saw some touch points. Came home, reached out to him on Twitter, asked him to mentor me. He became my mentor. I wrote a song about him because I came from hip hop. It went viral, and that was my interest into the technology space.
Okay.
And then that was 10 years ago that happened, right? And I never looked back. Fast forward to fintech startups, the one I'm currently working on, investment from Amazon, AWS, also a partnership with Visa. So yeah, that's kind of like the entire story.
I mean, Devon, we got to talk about this, right? So I mean, there are young brothers out there right now in the same situation you were when you were 13,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they don't have that mentor. They don't have that. It's like, you know, I didn't have it. You didn't have
I
it.
think it's a mindset too, right?
Right?
I mean, you made the decision to seek out additional learning
Right.
and to change your life multiple times, right?
Yes.
What's the difference between those that choose to change and learn and those that don't?
So I'll say this. So if you look at the dynamics of me being raised middle class,
Yeah.
right? That had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Because I was already inclined towards academics, right?
Yeah.
I was always a straight A student because I had that foundation. The minute I lost that, now I'm wayward.
Yeah.
Now I'm in crime. Now I'm stealing bikes. Now I'm fighting. I'm not going to school. I'm skipping school. The pressures at home are outweighing my education. So an 8th grade formal education, decade of incarceration, no tech background. But I was able still to break into one of the highest levels of Silicon Valley venture capital. And I set my life on a trajectory for certain success. Why? Because like you said, I took the initiative to want to learn. And one of my superpowers, I really have two main superpowers. One, I love to read.
Yeah.
Reading. I love to read. I love knowledge. I love learning. I have a strong comprehension ability. So I can learn a subject in the same day and repeat it back as if I'd known it for years.
Incredible. You're unique.
That's my gift. So the second thing is that
That's actually called street knowledge. What it is, brother. It's street knowledge.
quick learning, right?
Boom, because you don't want to be repeating it.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to tell you a second time.
Exactly. And then the second thing is just my name Divine, just knowledge of a higher power,
Yep.
a power beyond me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That and I had to use that to get through prison. I'm 19 years old, sitting in federal prison. Like, that was just a crazy experience. I had my son
Imagine.
at 16. He was only 3. I left him. It was a horrible experience. Nobody was there for me. Everybody abandoned me. It was crazy. So I had to find solace and find strength to fortify my emotions and my mind, and that came from a higher power.
Do you find that your failures led you to be more successful than your successes actually led you to be successful?
Yeah, because it's crazy. Because you look at that backwards. It's like reverse engineer that. My success led to my failure.
Yeah.
I was successful. in the game.
Yeah.
Too successful, too fast for my age and the time and place. So yeah, eyes on me. I failed, right?
Yeah.
And that failure led to me failing as a father because I couldn't be there for my child, right?
Yeah.
And I was really trying to provide for him. So me having a success mindset saying, I'm able to provide for my child, I'm really not looking at the downside of that to where I leave him for 7 years, 10 years. He's 3 years old. I come back, he's 13.
Wow.
There's no foundation, right?
That's
So
amazing story.
So that was like how I was caught up in that. But I agree with you. You don't become successful without failure.
Yeah.
Because all the failures of me going in and out of prison every time, having plenty of money. Money was never an object for me. Plenty of money. But it wasn't ever enough because every time I got caught, now I have no money.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now I'm back at square one. So it's like a never-ending cycle, right?
There was that movie out a while ago, The Greatest Showman on Earth. And one of the
Barnum and Bailey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the songs there was a song called Never Enough. And I was like, why do I like this song so much?
Right.
And then one day it hit me because that's my there's never enough.
Right.
There's never enough of whatever, like even if I'm eating cheesecake, there's never enough of the cheesecake.
Yeah.
There's never, I mean,
Cheesecake.
right? So
Mine's is the bean pie. So
yeah, but
There you go.
it's not that. It's the mindset that I have that I need more.
But you know what? Speaking of that, Fab, is that I didn't look at it like I needed more like it from a
Money.
ravenous. Yeah,
No, it's
more so.
it's the
Remember, I
doing.
was
It's the
13
doing. It's
right,
the doing.
exactly. 13 years old. This is what I knew as survival. It's all I ever knew. I got to get it. So it's never been me selling drugs was never a negative experience in the sense of how I felt about it. It led to negative experiences by being arrested, incarcerated.
Mind though, you're now in a corporate environment,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
You still got the street look about you, and you still got no. Listen, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
You still got the street mentality.
Yeah.
How do you take that and bring that to corporate America, where these white guys are sitting at a table and they're like, "Hey, listen, we got to go through this pro forma. We got to look at the P&L," and you're like, "No, I got no time for this."
Well, actually, I made time for that because I learned all those things.
There you go.
I had to learn those things. Remember, I'm a CEO as well, right? I just don't work for somebody. To me, like, if I enter a company, I'm never entering a company as an employee. That's never my mindset. My mindset is I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm an entrepreneur. If I come into a company to help you, whether that's being paid monthly or whatever it is, whatever that arrangement is, I'm coming in as an executive, right? And that's how I'm thinking as an executive. Because that's what I've learned my time in building my own companies.
Because he's a guy who sets his sights higher.
No,
And he leveraged all of your previous experience to build on it. And I love that about it. That's awesome.
Is that he's already assumed the work he's got to do.
Yeah.
You're not afraid of the work.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this with different people, Joe, all week.
Yeah.
Right? There's people who are afraid to do the work.
Yeah.
He's already know he's going to do the work. Where am I starting from?
Yeah.
No, but you made a good point because when you think about corporate, it's a whole different world from the streets, right? But then I look at corporate, I'm like, dang, they got their own little system of
Oh yeah,
they sharks too.
Yeah,
man. I'm a shark in the concrete. They sharks too in the boardrooms.
They're taking their little pieces. They're taking their pieces. They're kicking up. They're kicking up.
Yeah, people, infighting, people trying to raise the higher positions. Like it's the same system. So I had to learn how do I take those transferable skills, hustling from manufacturing, from sourcing, marketing, product. I did all that in the streets.
Distribution.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Exactly. But I never knew that was entrepreneurial.
Yeah, beautiful, man.
OG entrepreneur back at 13. He's different. Yeah.
I just got busy.
Listen,
So
man,
now I get incorporated and now I'm applying all that stuff.
that's amazing. Listen,
Yeah.
you got to come on the show for the whole 1 hour thing.
Definitely.
This is too small of a venue for you, man. I'm sorry.
All right, no
Well,
problem.
let me ask one more thing.
Sure.
All right, let me ask this. You're a rapper.
Yeah.
You freestyle
Yeah, I could do some
a little
freestyle.
bit? You want to do something real quick?
I'll do something real quick.
Let's throw out like a little bit about NAMMBA, about this conference. What kind
You
of
need a beat?
flow can you do?
I don't know beat
I
NAMMBA.
don't need no beat. Let me get a beat, man.
Say, I'm sick of that. I know beat's gonna throw me. I just come over the top of my head. I don't think you're gonna hit that beat right, Fab.
No, I'm a musician, man. I can even any beat you want.
We're
Man.
gonna
Go.
record this because I gotta get this. This is awesome. All right.
Oh, no, go.
No, I'm from DC. You saw me do the go.
Down to Orlando.
Oh.
NAMMBA. Busted off like a hammer. Check out the grammar. Fly talk. Came through the rhyme with dot talk. Vine, baby. I busted down raw talk. Everybody knows my thoughts range, thoughts plain. It's like a round with time till my thoughts range. I'm on this podcast with men. We don't even care. It's going down, baby.
That's awesome. Yes, thank you.
You're the real.
Amazing. Amazing.
Oh my God.
It's divine, man. Where can we find you?
Yo, you can find me at all social media platforms at Divine4thLetter. DIVINE number 4 TH letter.
Let's go. All right.
We're out of here.
Peace.
Dude. Oh, the best.
45.
Looks like Tom Duncan.
Sounds like, must be a duck.
Jersey girls are the best.
Yeah.
What?
The bunny ears are back.